Hello again. Wake the kids and phone the neighbors. It's time for the Nightly Draw Live for July the 12th, 2017. How the heck are you doing? Joel, and if you're just now coming online, sign in and say hello on the chat. And if you're watching this on the replay, feel free to click that subscribe button down there in the bottom. And also say hi in the comments, too, because I want to know what you think and what you'd like to see drawn and stuff like that going on in the future. Got a couple of things going on. One of them was, I don't know if you saw it in the pre-show, right before the show started. Let me bring this back up here. This little thing I just threw together. Oh, there it is, right in front of my face. This is actually an app running live on my desktop. I've been needing a clock for a while. I've been needing, so that I can see exactly what time it is, so I know when to start the show and when to fire the things off. And I couldn't find one that I really liked. The Amiga back in the day, it came with a clock, little clock. I mean, you just ran it and it was a clock, but you could resize it and make it whatever size you want. You could make it digital, or you could, which is just print it out in text. Or you could do an analog clock that was a resizable. It was actually a vector clock, and I just couldn't. All of these other clocks, I just couldn't find one. They were too small. I couldn't read them. I needed something that I could see. Look over there at the computer screen and be able to see. Oh crap! It's time to go, and hit the button. So I pulled out a development system that I have called Zojo. Actually, I don't have a current license for it, turned out. And I had to drop back to an older version called Real Basic. It's kind of like a Visual Basic thing. And I found these really nice Nixie. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Let's try this one. I found these really nice Nixie images online, and I cut them apart and wrote some code to take the system clock and just display it. And I'm really, really happy with it. I actually have modified it so that it does. I can make the colons blink, and I can also change it to a 24-hour clock, as well as a 12-hour clock. And you see, that was really cool. I just realized I remembered I did this. See, it turns off the AM PM indicators, but also resizes the window. So I'm really, really pleased with that. I've got a version of it for macOS, obviously, and I have a version for. I compiled it for Windows also, but I don't know how well it works in Windows because I don't have a Windows box. I just don't know. So if anybody's interested in that, I can let me turn that off, because you don't need to know what time it is. What time is it anyway? What day is this? Anyway, it's Wednesday. That's what day it is. Yeah, today and then earlier today had something happen that I'm still just really, really ticked off at. I did the show on the Atlanta Comic Convention over at the that one-day show. Not last Sunday, but the Sunday before. And it was this guy across the hall, and at one point I drifted off. I fell asleep. I have sleep apnea, and I fell asleep. And he thought it would be funny to take a picture of me and put it up on Facebook and complain about, this guy, he's I try to get into all these shows, and he gets into a show and all he does is sleep. Well, no, not all I did was sleep. I mean, there was one or two times that I drifted off because I have sleep apnea, and mornings are not very good for me. And it must be nice to be so perfect. A friend of mine, I need to give a couple of shout outs to some folks who kind of called him on the carpet, and he took it down, but I'm still mad. Tom Heinches, my good friend Tom Heinches, who I mentioned quite a bit, was also had him in his friends list. So he sent him a message, and then another person who just jumped in. Great guy, Chris Schweitzer. If you're not familiar with Chris Schweitzer and his books, The Krogan Adventures, I should have done a slide for him. Go and check him out. Chris Schweitzer is a great cartoonist, a great storyteller, and he's also one heck of a swell guy too. I got to know him very well. A couple of years ago, we had our Southeast National Cartoonist Society chapter meeting down in Savannah, and I drove Chris down and drove him back. So you get to know a guy when you're driving down Interstate 16. Let me tell you, Interstate 16, there is nothing on Interstate 16, so you get to know your passenger. Interstate 16 goes from Macon to Savannah. And the only point of you know how interstates will have geographical points of interest, historical sites. The only one along, and I'm not making this up. I couldn't make this up if I tried. The only one along Interstate 16 is a sign pointing you to the geographical center of Georgia. That's how nothing there is down that stretch of highway, and it's a straight shot. You could just lock the steering wheel off, and going from Macon to Savannah. So I got to know got to know Chris really well. He's a great guy and a fantastic cartoonist, and like I said, just a great guy. And he wrote a very nice post. Well, the post is gone. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you who it was that posted this thing, but I just say it just. I'm really over social media. I really am. It was this great tool that could have been this wonderful tool, but we just use it to be anonymous and to snark about people. And I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that guy that does that or jumps in on it. And so I just I use Facebook pretty much just to promote my stuff. That's it. I'm really I don't want to live there. I don't want to live in that space, because I don't want to be the person that it makes you into. And so rant over. Anyway, all right. You know what? I really don't feel like doing the shameless capitalism part of the show tonight. I really don't, because I'm just in that kind of a mood. Dragon Con's coming up September 1st. I got comic books coming. You know about the books. You know the Patreon. I just don't feel like getting into it tonight. So. But anyway, the Nixie clock, I got to say, I'm really pleased with that. I'm really happy with the way that came out. That came out really nice. And what's really cool is the way that this app will grab a window and just throw it into the video stream. I think that's pretty darn cool. You know what that means? We're going to try maybe by the later in the week. I'll try setting up over at the other station, put some more lights in there so you can actually see me. But set up over in the other computer station, which has the Cintiq, and that's where I do coloring, and that's where I do digital inking and things like that. So maybe by Friday we'll move away from here. We'll do our first remote. We'll go to the other side of the Worldwide Broadcast Operations Center here, and we'll do some photoshopping. Maybe Clip Studio Pro. Go into that a little bit, and do some inking on. I know we can do some inking on Lair of the Insectars, because I need to do some of that. So we can do some of that. I think that'll be fun. That'll be interesting. So we'll do that. Okay. Well, since we're not doing the shameless capitalism part, Durham had a request for Durham to do Durham, and it came a little late last night on Total Request Thursday, and which, by the way, that went really well. We got two really nice pieces out of that, and one of them, I'm going to give the Darkwing his. I'm just going to send that to him. But the Cyber Dragon, the Derpy Dragon, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I might, I don't know, put it up for sale or something. I don't know. Anyway, like I said, I'm just, the whole thing today just kind of just that whole incident today with that guy on Facebook just really just kind of took the wind out of my sails today, and I'm just not, I'm just I want to do something. I want to punch him out is what I want to do, but I'm not going to do that. And I want to go, and I'm fighting the worst, trying to listen to the better angels of my nature, what little there are, and try to take the high road on this. So I'm going to take the high road, and I'm just going to shut up about it. I'm just not going to talk about it anymore. All right, Durham. Let's see. Here we go. For those of you who, I didn't say I wasn't in the mood to draw. I just, just not really in the mood to do the, the usual stuff tonight. So Durham. Let me sharpen here. Durham was an interesting character. She was been around for about 10 years, and I created her for the original version, in the original continuity. She hasn't really shown up in the new continuity. In fact, she hasn't officially shown up in the new continuity. Now that I think about it, and she was created for. Duty Now for the Future. That was the story, and she ended up being started out as a captain of the guard of this kind of fascist state that our characters found themselves in, that had been taken over that was being run secretly by malevolence, and then. She was a double agent and then a triple agent, and then it turned out she was under the control of these alien starfish, which I hate. I hate starfish. Starfish just creep me out. These invisible starfish that were controlling people, and she made a. It was kind of funny. She really surprised me when I was working on her story. There was this one scene. There was a scene with where she was confronting or talking to Sam, and all of a sudden, I just had her grab Sam and plant a big wet kiss on her lips, and I drew it, and I wrote it, and I drew it, and I looked at it, and I said, "Did I really just draw that? Where did that? That was not in my story. That was not in the story." But it really perked things up in terms of that story. That was I remember that was 2004, because I was working out of Athens, Georgia at the time, and with my friend Erica McCarthy, and we were working on Damn Good Dog, which was the documentary that she directed about UGA, the mascot for the University of Georgia, which is my alma mater, and Durham was kind of a case of not planning things out. And now, granted, the whole thing with her and Sam and the kiss, that that came out of nowhere. That's one thing. But hey Dave, how you doing? Welcome aboard. But Durham was just again, it was a character that whenever I needed whenever I needed the character, a character to kind of betray our characters in the storyline, I'd throw it over the door. So she became, first she was a double agent, then a triple agent, then a quadruple, and it's just it was, bad planning, really bad planning on my part. So and then in the end, I decided, okay, after all this that I put Durham through, she needs to redeem herself. And so she ended when Sam, and I'd always planned for Sam to kind of get run through and killed, and then another character to have to sacrifice. So I made Durham the character that did the sacrifice to bring Sam back. And well, yeah, I agree, James. James says there is something to be said for spontaneity in a storyline. I agree. There is a place for that, and it can take you to surprising places. However, there's also something to be said about actually knowing how your story is going to end before you start writing it, before you actually start, producing it for the public to see, which was pretty much the case. I did not know how I was going to end this story. I didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't know any of that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Durham in kind of the breastplate that she wore. In Duty Now for the Future. Well, yeah, writing the ending first. That's a good thing. I actually kind of did that with the ending was Sam dying and then being brought back. That was the ending that I knew. It was just poor planning in between that. And to be fair, I really was not anywhere near as good of a storyteller. Not that I'm any kind of great creator of literature now, but I'm much better than I was when I did that. Because that was 10 years ago. And actually, to show you how unplanned it was, I actually had, there was a whole chapter that I had started working on that story way back when. And when my father passed away, which was at that time, I just abandoned it. And when I came back to trying to get my life back, bringing life back to normal, I found I was just bored as hell with it because it was all exposition. So I just ended up doing an info dump and just moving on with the story. And so you'll be able to tell in there where that point is. Yeah. The original. I mean, when Durham first showed up, if you remember, she was hanging out with the magistrate at that time, and then they're being Alex and Sam are being frog marched off to prison or something or whatever. Again, it wasn't that really well thought out. But then they run into Zort and the rebels, and it turns out that Durham was on their side. Well, she shows up. She's wearing a uniform that was actually based on my high school band uniform. Um, my high school had a very unusual band uniforms. They looked like, I always thought they looked like the palace guard in some Central American country. Um, they were very unique. I mean, no other high school had uniforms that looked like them. That's right. Thank you, Dave. That's right. Alex was arrested for indecent exposure because he didn't have any clothes on. He was, you know, like a classical Greek centaur, and um, and actually, that's kind of an idea that's going to be coming back. I think I'm going to have that at the beginning of the year two. Is that idea that, especially in an industrialized society, that being just because you can go around without pants doesn't mean you can't go around without a shirt. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Oh well. And when I designed Durham, and I realized that I was going to have her sacrifice herself for Sam and then get turned into a sprite at the end, I was kind of teasing that with the little tufts of hair there that they in over in that original story. They were much bigger, so they were kind of teasing the antenna. And also another thing was, her ears they're not pointed ears. They're just kind of, it's kind of got this kind of pointed tip. And that was also another kind of clue as to what her fate was going to be. So another thing that did deliberately with the design for Durham was to make her not as busty as Sam, just to make her stand out from Stan. What would Lenny have done if Dorm had complained that? He probably would have said, leave the pop culture references to a professional princess. Lenny doesn't like people horning in on his territory. Actually, if I recall, and I'm trying to recall a story that I wrote 10 years ago that honestly I have disowned. Uh, Lenny turned Dorm into a sprite because after using her life force to save Sam, there wasn't a whole lot of life force left. And so he was able to kind of mold her into something that wouldn't take that much life force, which is why she ended up being a sprite. And then there was also Glow, who, if you remember, Glow was a sprite that was in that story very early on. And she, again, was... she was also, again, I cringe thinking about this because it's like, oh, yeah, right, great. You got another double agent? She was a double agent also. It's like, oh, great, another double agent. Great. So you got, but I killed her off, and I had to transfer all of the betrayals to Durham, which is why she ended up with them. Actually, although I think as a double agent, I think Boris and Natasha were more effective and competent than Durham was. She really wasn't a very good double agent. She was easily found out. Well, Boris and Natasha are easy to find out, to discover. And I'm going to repencil that leg. I'm not happy with the position of that leg. That's a little better. Yeah, that's a little better. All right. Now, eraser. Didn't mean to move that camera. That's why I'm going to be glad to get one of these days get this rebuilt. I'm actually thinking not only of rebuilding this hutch in here, but also repositioning it so that I can actually set up a camera and actually shoot through that direction, which, you know, I'm pointing in the wrong camera. Yeah, but the thing about pencils is I hate erasing. I hate taking the pencils up. Which I don't do on the regular story artwork. I use the blue pencils for that specific reason, so I don't have to erase them. And I just hate erasing. I've always hated erasing. I remember, speaking of this, you know, it's amazing what neurons fire as you're sitting here erasing. I remember I was talking to Jack Davis one time, and he was telling me about when he was, you know, doing Mad in New York. This is in the '60s, late '60s, early '70s, somewhere around there. And he was living on Long Island, and he would come in to bring his work in, and he had been working on it right up until the moment that he had to get in the car to leave to go into Manhattan to drop it off. And so he would be driving, and his wife Dina would be erasing the pencils because Jack had not had time to finish the pencils. And he told me, he said, well, yeah, one time we got there and Dina hadn't finished erasing. I had to go around the block about 7 or 8 times before she could get all the pencils done. Somebody had to drive and somebody had to erase. Oh, what a great guy. He was. He really was. You know, and actually, you know, I'm sure, Dave, you remember the opportunity you had to meet him. That's going to be, I'm sure, a great, you know, it's going to be one of the moments that you'll remember for the rest of your life, kind of like me getting, when I tripped over Bob Hope. All right. I'm trying to decide how I'm gonna color this. Yeah, but you know, you remember when you gave him those magazines, he was, I can tell you, he was genuinely touched when gave him those magazines because remember he didn't have copies of them of his own, so um, that was that the night with Sergio? Was that the night that Sergio was there, or was that somebody else? I can't remember if that was the night with Sergio or not. No, I don't think it was. I don't think it was Sergio that night. Now that I think about it. All right. How am I going to color this? Do I want to color it with ink, do it with the Copics, or do I just want to do pencils? Because the thing is, I don't have any brush pen. Brush pen's kind of iffy right now. Okay, I couldn't remember if it was or not. But yeah, you got him his only the copies that he ended up with of Yak Yak. Which was that was fantastic. That was amazing. That was a great moment. And he was really touched. Okay, now Durham has some coloring issues here, because this again, this is when you design a character, you don't think about these things long term. Durham has freckles because she's a redhead. She's ginger. And then there's that rather complex coat pattern. Yes, there is that. This I file under what was I thinking? Yeah. And the thing about it is I don't make any pretense of trying to keep that pattern consistent because I know that I'm not. There's just no way. Dina Davis. I assume she's there. I usually see her son. Usually see Jack the Third at Dragon Con, so I'll ask how she's doing. All right. Well, let's get some soakers in here. So Durham has a light gray coat with a reddish mottled kind of a palomino pattern, sort of, I think is what you would call it. So let's just get the gray base down here. Yeah, that's right. Another gray female centaur and accidental centaurs. Again, what was I thinking? And another thing, the breastplate and the rings on her tail and all of that's supposed to be metallic. Oh, brother! Again, the song, the chorus by now. What was I thinking? I'd like to bring Durham back, but I think she's probably going to appear in year 2 somewhere because there's enough space to bring her in for a little arc and then out. Oh, lovely. And then I picked the color that I'm running out of. Do I have any of this one? Oh! Happy, happy, joy, joy. I do. I have ink. Yeah, the way that I'm holding all this stuff makes it look like an AVE video, but with less cussing and less Canadian accents. All right, so here's what I'm going to show you how this works. This is really clever. The Copic system is a these really nice. These are expensive. These retail list price is like about $7 a piece. Yeah, I know, $7 a piece, but you get a bottle of ink for about another $7. There's about 10 to 12 refills of this in here. So by the time you start refilling this ink card, also the nibs are replaceable as well. So by the time you start refilling these, oh yeah, that's dry. How dry I am. By the time you start refilling a marker, and you refill it about 5 or 6 times, now you're actually to the point where you're actually saving money as opposed to non-refillable markers. And what I'm doing is I'm just dripping this in here. You really can't see very well because of the angle. And I only put a couple of milliliters in here. I don't want to overfill it because if I do, then I overfilled it. Oh dear. See, what was I saying about not overfilling? Well, I just did it. All right. Let me close this up here. See, there's a reservoir inside this the central portion here, and it is supposed to soak up the ink and hold it. Then these nibs slide in and touch it, and capillary action pulls the ink up into the. But if it's overloaded, then it'll drip like that. So now what I'm going to do, now I need to do is and you see I get it, and it gets all over. Now see if I had not done this, that would have ended up on the artwork. That's why you don't overload these things, boys and girls, and you pay attention to how much ink you're actually putting in. Yeah, look at all that ink. That was spilled a lot of ink on this one. I know. I need more paper towels. Will I be bringing Durham back as a centaur or as a sprite? Probably as a centaur. To have symmetry. There we go. Now it's to have symmetry with the original appearance and the original character. Ugh! Oy vey! What a mess. Okay, that's okay. I have a way to clean this up. I can fix this. This I can fix because I have the universal solvent for all of this. Anyway, to get back to answering that question, will I be bringing her back as a centaur or as a sprite? I may, have her on a similar kind of arc, just for the purposes of symmetry. Here we go. Gotta open this thing up. Now, the solvent for this is isopropyl alcohol. See? These markers are all alcohol based, and the reason for that is that it allows the ink to dry faster. So, oh, and I'm making a mess of the alcohol. How dry I am. Heck. Okay. But you can see all that bled through there, and it dries up, disappears very quickly. Now I can go in here and I can actually clean off the marker. And now it's back to almost showroom condition. You wouldn't know that I overfilled it and made a huge mess. Ta-da! Actually, I don't think the dip was made out of alcohol. As I recall, it was turpentine. Alcohol is not really paint thinner, but all right. Now, since I don't trust that I got everything out, because I've been burned before, I'm gonna get another paper towel and make sure. There we go. And as you can see, we have much more ink in here. And a consistent volume coming out. I really love these markers. I'd love to get more of them. Problem is they've been kind of hard to get lately because they became super popular and the production methods didn't scale. Oops. And from what I understand, the problem are these brush nibs. These brush tips on them are handmade and did not scale very well in terms of production and to keep the quality up. You know, the company didn't want to just, you know, get some faceless factory in China to make them and the quality go down. They wanted to keep the high quality up. Reminds me of that joke in Back to the Future. Well, there's your problem. It says made in Japan. Why? All the good stuff is comes from Japan. All right. So now we got all of Durham's. So let's get her her spots in here. And I'm sure there is a name for this kind of pelt, because when I actually had consulted a website which had different kinds of horse pelts, and there is a name for it, but I just can't remember what it is right now. All right, that's good enough. All right, now, all right. Let's see if I got. All right. Durham was always supposed to be very pale in color, like many redheads. Redheads tend to be very very pale and easily burned. As for the Rorschach type, well, that's the actual effect. That's the way it turns out, is that they are kind of like the spots on Rorschach's mask, because I don't draw them consistently from panel to panel, so they do kind of float around. That wasn't the intent, but that was the result. And I was thinking about making a joke about that just now, but you beat me to it. What's great about these markers is that with like these lighter colors, I can actually go over the line into these other spaces and not worry about, when I come back and color in there with the darker color, that it's going to bleed, because it's not. Then that's the alcohol. That's the alcohol talking. No, that's the alcohol solvent. Have I given any thought to Dorm's backstory? No, not really. Again, that was a long time ago, and it was when I didn't had not thought out that much about the characters. She was a military officer, and honestly, if I had thought about the backstory for her, she wouldn't have gone through as many flip-flops in her loyalty as I put her through. When I do bring her back, there will be more, but at this point, I have not brought that thought of that. Okay, now need to do some Yeah, that'll work. Need to do some freckles. So let's do some freckles across the bridge of the nose here. And they're very light, so you can barely see them. Then across her shoulders and her chest. There we go. All right, that worked out. That worked out nicely, actually. Surprisingly. All right, for hair. Oh no. Oh no. Definitely not. Well, that's not any better. Let's see this one. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. I have to go back and look at my my artwork for Magic Man 3 to see what color I've actually got Dorum's hair in that story. Because, you know, she was never in color in Duty Now for the Future, because that story was all done in black and white. Yeah, that's right. Dave, that was Zort that you're thinking of. And actually, he became a satyr under the influence of malevolence. And he didn't get changed back into a centaur. And he actually showed up again as in the story that I never finished, that I kind of abandoned, as the ambassador to it was Bix's coronation, and he there was some big secret that he knew Sam knew. Okay, I'm going to use this one. And when he confronted Sam, she blasted him. And he was going to kind of come back as a zombie, kind of undead sort of thing. And again, it was another case of ritus interruptus, because I started planning out the story and I didn't have a clear idea of where things were going, and I wanted to just get into it and get going, and it started, and I could feel it. I could just feel it turning into a mess, which is why I pulled the plug. I could just feel it happening. I could just feel it starting to go all cattywampus, and so I canceled the story. I canceled Accidental Centaurs, and until I had the epiphany of, well, why don't I just reboot the whole thing and start? Because I was like, I don't want to go back into that. It's just a mess. I don't want to. I made just a huge mess of it, and then it's like, well, why don't you just get rid of it? right. All right. I got to do these little straps back here that hold the this thing on. And I got to do something to try to make it look metallic. And I think I'm going to do the hoops first, because I really don't want to do the metallics. I'm not very good at it. Boy, that Nixie clock really works nicely. I'm really happy with the way that thing worked out. All right. For those of you latecomers, show you what I was talking about, the Nixie clock. Where is it? Right there? Yeah, right there. I wrote that app today. I wrote an app today. Let's see. Do a little test here. What I want to do is just darken. Yeah, that might work. Actually, let's try the N3. All right, there we go. Latecomers have been repeating a few questions that we've been talking about, so I'll just mention that yes, Dorm will probably be coming back in the new continuity in the year 2 stories. There we go. And again, like I said, I don't have my the pen that I normally do my outlining with here is not at all well, and in fact has gone AWOL. I don't know where it is. Well, thanks. That was good. Let's see, is it in here? Hello? Hello, Mr. Pen? No, not in there. Is it in here? No, no. I used to have a chisel of that same one. I was thinking maybe of trying it, but it's not. It's gone AWOL as well. And all of these pens are all old, dried up, or way too thin. So, if I ask where my glasses are, then they're right there. Got some charcoal pencils. That might be an interesting experiment. Messy, but interesting. Last time I did that, I made a huge mess. No, not in there. All right, I guess. Let's see what. Let me take a look here real quick with the brush. Yeah, the Copic brush is just a little. It's a little too fuzzy, and I don't have the control on it, so I need to get a new nib for this. The ink cartridge is fine. I just need a new nib. Okay, so all right, so there's Durham, as requested. Ta-da! And I'll get. I just need. I wish I knew where that chisel pen tip went, because I could probably do the outlines with the chisel, but I just don't know what I did with it. It's just gone away. Oh well. That's a P. And that's a J. Today's show has been brought to you by the letters P and J. Okay, well, I guess we'll just have to let it go at that for now. All right. All right, so there we go. There's Durham. Ta-da, Durham. Ta-da. Not bad. Yes, the Bitly address. Good point. Thank you. Normally that's done in the shameless commerce section, but I again, like I said last night, after what went on today, I just did not feel up to the commerce section of the show. Let me find it here. It's here somewhere. That's not it. That's not it. Oh, there it is. There it is. Yes, the new nightly show, nightly draw URL, which get back up there. I didn't tell you to go away. Is bit.ly/nightlydraw. That was the easy way to find it. Tell your friends, please. Tell your friends. 10 o'clock Eastern Time. 7. That's 9 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Mountain, 7 o'clock Pacific, 2 a.m. It would be 11 o'clock in Nova Scotia. Yes, show description. Yes, that's a good idea. I need to start adding it. I need to add it to the main template that YouTube uses. Which reminds me of something that I talked about last night. Is I'm thinking about an experiment of moving the show over to Twitch or Picarto. I was ranted last night about YouTube and how they keeps changing the goalposts, and so I was thinking. I've been thinking about moving over to go away. Twitch or Picardo, those systems are designed for doing the live streaming, and their monetization is a lot more equitable for people starting up. YouTube keeps changing it so that, you know, if you're not already established with 1,000 subscribers and 10,000 views on your channel, you're just SOL. And I'm a little miffed at that, as I said last night. So I'm thinking about doing the Twitch. It has a one-click system, or is supported one-click in the software that I use. This software right here, it's called Mimo Live, and oh yeah, that showed up really well. That was real good. Mimo Live, which is the video switching software that I use. Picardo, yeah, not so much. And it's kind of a kludge. You got to go through another piece of software called OBS, Open Broadcast Software, which you can do, but it kind of works. And the audio wasn't working the way that I wanted it to, and so it was kind of iffy. The thing about Picardo, and the reason why it's even being considered, is that it is designed for exactly this kind of show, for illustrators and artists, whereas Twitch is more oriented towards gamers. But YouTube has been making some changes that I don't really like in terms of not just the monetization, but also discovery. People being able to find this show. It's not. I don't like what they're doing. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's good for small content providers like me, because they let's face it, they want to be the next Hulu or the next Netflix, and moving away from a platform where little guys can monetize. They wanted to go from being YouTube to our tube. Yeah, don't touch the mic, don't touch the camera. I know. I've only been doing this for 35 years. God, I feel old. Anyway, okay. So I'm thinking about doing that. We also have the Movies of Mass Distraction that's going to be coming up, and I need to get back to work on that and do some more work on it. And when that is coming around, I'll let you know. I'll bring that up. Anyway, that's pretty much me rambling right now. Anybody got any last minute questions or something? I know we're on about a 10-second latency here. So, by the way, I think I'm gonna I gotta figure out if I want to pay the money to get my Apple thing back up so that I can sign this the code for this little clock and put it up on the App Store. So I may do that, because it's just a simple little clock, and it and who doesn't love Nixies? Who doesn't love Nixie tubes? I love Nixie tubes. They're just Nixie tubes are great. I love Nixies. But again, as I had said earlier in the show, what this means is that works so well. The capture works so well, is that probably Friday. Let's just go ahead and plan on it. Friday, I'm going to do the show from over on the other side of the room. From the other side of here at Worldwide Broadcast Operations Center at Stately Lotshaw Manor. And I'm going to draw over there on the Cintiq and do some coloring and show you, talk about that. So you definitely are going to want to be around for that. Yeah, I know. That's the thing about Nixies. Boy, they take some voltage. You better be careful if you touch them. Don't touch the camera. Don't touch the Nixies. Definitely don't do that. But they look so great. I just love the look of a Nixie. Anything with Nixie tubes, it's just got this wonderful classic look to them. And electronics just doesn't have that anymore. It's just, just got this warm feel because they were probably the tubes were probably about 150 degrees too. Um, so yeah, I'm just kind of rambling here at this point, and we are at an hour 17. So any last minute questions, comments, things? I'll just babble here for about 10-15 seconds for you guys to catch up. So Friday we will do the show from over there. It means I got to clean it up and get the camera moved over and everything, but we shouldn't be a problem. And maybe we'll have the new title sequence done by then. I only have one shot left to go in the new title sequence. So we'll see. Maybe I can have that done. I would like to have that done. All right. Well, I guess that's it. Thank you for joining me. Whether you came in late or not, thank you for being here regardless. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. I appreciate your support and your readership and a nice cold drink of water. Ugh. My throat feels like I've been rambling for about an hour and 18 minutes. Oh, because I have been rambling for an hour and 18 minutes. Okay. Do you get an error going to the main AC site? No, I don't. Is anybody else getting any kind of an error on the AC site? If there is, let me know. But no, there shouldn't be because it's just a straight up web page. There's no database or anything. Each one of the pages is rendered out to HTML. It's not generated on the fly. It's pre-rendered, and then hold on. Aren't you glad I spared you that? So there's not any it's a straight HTML page. The only thing is maybe but I haven't had any problems with it. The actual index page has an HTML redirect, which redirects you from the root page, what would normally be indexed at HTML, into the page stack. But that's a standard HTML direct. If there's a problem with that, there's a problem with your browser. So there we go. Little inside baseball on how the page works. I got fed up with WordPress. When you turn 50 years old, you just have this moment. Say, you know what? Why am I putting up with this? Why am I putting up with this? Why am I putting up with crappy software? Why am I putting up with crappy people? It's one of those moments when you just have an epiphany, and why am I putting? You kids, get off my lawn. And I turned 50 back in November on November 8th, and I was like, you know what? Why am I putting up with this? I don't have to put up with this. So I don't. So I scrapped it, and I wrote brand new code. I'm still working on it, but it's all new code that I wrote from scratch. And I still have to go into PHP MyAdmin and directly go into the database because I don't have any CRUD code right now. But I will when I get around to it. When I'm finally get up, pissed off enough to say, why am I going into the database manager to update the site? And that's when I'll finally just get around to writing some CRUD code. Well, Mark, that's exactly what the redirect does. It takes you to the first page of the comic. It's for people who aren't. It really. What I'm really. Here's what I want. Here's the website is really to introduce people to Accidental Centaurs. If you want to see new pages, that's the Patreon program. And to answer your question from earlier, whoever it was that asked it, first, the new pages are going to be are going behind the paywall because I need to make some money off of this, and they will eventually come out from behind the paywall. But they need to be an exclusive for people who can find $5 a month. And I don't think that's asking too much. I really don't. And I hate to, I'm in a little bit of a cranky mood. And if you had seen the earlier part of the show, you would know why. So it's really more of a brochure than anything else. Is to try to grow the brand. And I know most sites take you to the latest page, but taking me to the latest page didn't get me anywhere. Didn't do anything for me. Didn't grow the brand. And so I'm trying something else. I'm trying to make this thing work. I know what he was saying, and that's the way the Accidental Centaurs worked for the longest time. But I'm trying to grow the brand, and I'm trying to send people to the very beginning to read and get caught up on the story. And actually, I have been giving consideration to actually putting all of those pages and making the Accidental Centaur site a brochure. And I know that's gonna make some people mad, but I've been doing this for 15 years and I'm flat broke. And I'm sorry if I'm getting cranky and I make you mad. I'm sorry if that's the case. But the thing is, I've been giving this stuff away for free and I haven't gotten anything for it. I've gotten a little bit of book sales, but I really don't have that much for it to show for it. So if I'm going to try and make a big push at Dragon Con or someplace like that, I can't be giving this away. I realize that the economy has changed. There was a time when you could do that and you could say, oh, I've got ad revenue coming in. Well, you know what? Everybody's got ad blockers now, and nobody looks at the ads. So ad revenue is in the toilet. Well, that means I can't give the stuff away anymore. I got to get paid for it one way or another. And whether it's Google paying for it or it's someone paying through it for Patreon, I still need to get compensated for it. And that's just economics. That's why I do. I have to shill all my books, and I'll do all that stuff at the very beginning, which I didn't do today because something happened that just really got on my last good nerve today, and I'm sorry for ranting like this, but it's just I can't afford to do this. I have bills to pay. We all do. We can all recognize that, but I don't have another day job. This is the day job. So I can't give it away. I have to make money from it somehow. And it used to be that I could do that with I could make some money with advertising revenue and working with Bill Holbrook and things like that. But I'm not doing that anymore. And so I gotta try and flog a dead horse. Pardon the pun. And and I'm sorry, and I don't mean to rant and blow up at you guys, because you guys are the core. You guys are the hardcore fans, and I really appreciate it. I love every one of you. I really do. It's just, I just can't. I just can't. I can't. I have to get compensation from it somehow. And so that's why, like I said, that's why I do the shameless capitalism part of the show. I don't ask for commissions enough. I need to do more commissions. Please send me. I need to do commissions. I need to do. I'm going to do. There's going to be another Naughty Bits books. Those sell. Oh boy, do those sell. But and I'm sorry to go off on a rant. I really didn't mean to, and I don't mean to go off on you guys. I really don't, and I'm sorry. I apologize for that. If I offended you, I don't mean to. It's just, I know things have to change with Accidental Centaurs if this is going to continue, and I want this to continue. I want to keep doing this. Because I love these characters, I love this story. You guys are great. I think you're fantastic, and I want to keep doing this stuff for you. But I need to get, I need to make some money off of it, and that's why I have to do the Patreon, and I have to move stuff to Patreon, and I have to move stuff that had been free. I have to take it away and try to sell, because I need to sell it, And I can't sell comic books if the comic books are all available online. So, all right, So much for the rant. Again, I apologize for the rant. I don't mean to go off on you guys. And after the incident that happened today, I feel like a pressure cooker today. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, wait for YouTube to put this up, and you can go back because I'll talk about it at the very beginning. I don't want to go back into it again because it's already ruined my day and it's already ruined this show. So enough of that. So again, I apologize. My apologies. But again, I don't do the shameless capitalism stuff just because I like hearing it. I would rather not do it. I would rather not have to do it, but I have to. But I have, and that's why it's at the beginning of the show. You got to sit through the commercials in order to get to the good stuff. So. All right, I'm sorry. Anyway, so now that I've pissed all of you folks off, again, thank you for being here. Thank you for sitting through all of that. You guys are the greatest in the world. You really are, really. And I'm not just saying that because I want you to be Patreon patrons, which I do. No, I really do appreciate your support, because all of you, I know you've been around for a long time, and you've been there a long time, and I appreciate it, and I really do. But I need your help. I need you to tell your friends, hey, I've been watching this artist, and he's a real crackpot, but he draws halfway decent, and he takes questions and he takes requests. Why don't you go watch him and subscribe to his channel? Tell your friends, tell your enemies, Tell people you randomly run into on the bus, whatever. Tell your friends, spread the word. There's a simple URL for it now. I cheated. I went and got a Bitly URL shortener so that I don't have to, But this will take you directly to this page. Give it to your friends. Let them know. It's a lot of fun, and as a certain disgraced comedian used to say, who knows, you might just end up learning something. I know I do. And what I learned tonight was that I can really go off on a rant if I want to. Oh boy. So anyway, I'd rather not rant. I'd rather draw. I'd rather be funny, and I'd rather be entertaining rather than do that. But anyway, thank you again. Like I said, you guys are the best. I appreciate it. And if you're not watching this live, Go and buy something already. No, seriously. Thank you for watching. If you like this, and I don't know why you would, after that little rant, be sure to click that subscribe button. I think it's right down there. Right down there. Go click that subscribe button. That helps me. I'll let you know about the Twitch thing and what I'm going to go, which way I'm going to go with that. I may do a test. One night, not do the show and just kind of do a little closed test among us friends. And Movies of Mass Distraction, definitely. I definitely need you to, and I'll have a URL for that here soon. But tell your friends about that, because that's going to be something really cool. And I may do a little. I tried maybe this weekend do a little video, because I've got a video that's up there on YouTube now. There is a teaser, but it really doesn't tell you about it. But do a video that kind of explains what the show is going to be like, and then have that for you next week. So, on that note, Mark, what you said there. Go ahead and rant. You need the views. I don't want to be that guy. There are people who do that. There's a British comedian. He's very fun. Oh, he's funny. He does political humor, and what his shtick is that he's a reporter doing a live shot to some network, and this is the off camera when he's ranting about the report he just had about whatever crap happened today. I forgot what his name is. It is hilarious. It is. I don't care if you agree with him or not. It is hilarious. But I don't want to be that guy. I'm not that guy. I'd rather be the guy that draws. I'd rather be this guy. So, all right. I've rambled. I ranted. I certainly ranted enough, and I have rambled even more than that. And gosh darn, look at the time. I could just sit here and watch that clock all night long, because I'm really pleased with the way that turned out. And especially, like things like, I got it so that it does this when I turn off the, watch what happens when I turn off the 12-hour. Whoop. Isn't that cool? I actually got that to work. So, all right. Thanks again. Thanks for joining in. We will be back again tomorrow, and hopefully rant free tomorrow, 10 o'clock, same bat time, same bat channel, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 Central, 8 Mountain, 7 Pacific, 2 a.m. UTC, and on the same bat channel, which is this channel right here, bit.ly/nightly draw. Tell your friends, please. What about fun stories from the video production stuff that you do? There are no fun stories from video production. Video production has become a slog. It really is. But anyway, Heath. I heard that Heathkick was coming back. Yeah, I heard about that. What I want to know is, are they going to bring back the H19, the S100 computer? No, it wasn't even an S100. It was a Z80, but it was an 8080 computer. And they had their own operating system for it, but it wasn't an S100. That would be really cool if they brought back the H19, which you had to solder yourself. You had to assemble it and solder it yourself, and I remember that. All right. That's it. I am officially babbling now. I'm going to go and have some Oreos because I need them bad. So, all right. That's it for now. Thanks again. Again, sorry for the rant. Thank you for sitting through all of that. But again, please spread the word. I need your support. It's not going to grow without your help, and I really do need your help to help this grow. So thank you. Good night. drive safely, and go buy something. See you tomorrow.